Hello everybody, Andrew Casey at Hypersanitybooks. Today we're taking a look at the book Fake Money, Teachers and Assets. A full disclaimer, this book broke me and I will be touching on finance. I am not a financial advisor, I am not your financial advisor. If the WhatsApp man does anything to put a scam out in the comments, please do not engage, it is not us. You know how to contact me, Andrew Casey at hypersanitybooks.com, leaving something in the comments. Keep to the proper channels. When it comes to the WhatsApp man, I cannot help anyone to get their money back. So please, if you see the WhatsApp man, try to report it and let us know. Otherwise, in today's video, I will touch on a few things. But for now, let's just get into it. Number 10, fake money.
The moment you accept a paycheck, your brain goes dead. He says, as long as you're hungry, you'll think.
Fake money circulates in our economy. In Australia, as an example, there was the 50-cent coin that was made a certain percentage of silver. And as Robert Kiyosaki says, when fake money comes into circulation, as in printing more money, good money goes in hiding. So the value of the 50-cent coin has gone up in value because of the silver content within the coin. So that's something to always consider with the way money changes with currencies. The more money that gets printed and comes into circulation, as much as some governing bodies might be doing it to try to help people, it actually causes a bigger problem. And that's one of the reasons we have so much inflation today across the world. Number 9, gold.
Because when Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard in 71, he made it illegal. He also made it illegal for Americans to own gold. Imagine that.
He talks about a story going to Vietnam through the Vietnam War, because in the United States in that time, it was illegal to hold gold. And what he was doing to obtain it was quite interesting within the story, being behind enemy lines and trying to work in with different dealers. And it's trying to find people, even in today's world, who deal with gold appropriately. And within the story, there were certain comedic points of what he talked about within that story. It also challenged me to not even consider having gold within your portfolio of finance. I never considered that before. Number 8, working for fake money.
There's two types of people in the world. Those that own the store and those that scrape the shit off the floor. And you have to decide which one you are.
Within my time, I worked in doing junk mail on and off over many years. Think of that as a side hustle just to try to make ends meet. Then my first job was at Sizzlers for 1.5 years as a dish pig cleaning. I didn't mind doing washing up. I actually enjoy washing dishes, but you can't make a career out of that. So my full-time job, first one I did when I was closer to 20, I worked at an abattoir in the meatworks. My primary job that I did there was strapping and packing boxes in the offal room. I saw a lot of bodily organs. Within the profession, at the time, I was 24 at the time and earning $19 an hour. Someone else doing something similar or even worse in the tripe room was 19 years old, earning $12 an hour. And working around stomach acids, you will lose your fingernails, as this 19-year-old found. But because he was not 21, he was considered a junior to be paid less. Number 7, fake teachers.
You see, most teachers in school, they're out of ethics. They teach subjects they themselves don't practice.
With this story, he's not saying that teachers at schools are necessarily bad people or necessarily fake. It's what they're not educated on as far as teaching goes. So within a full disclaimer, and this has been said in other books that he's written, he talked to his father, who was head of education, and it said, we are not allowed to teach the subject of money at school. The government tells us what we can teach and what we can't teach. The same is here in Australia and other countries as well. So I do wonder what type of fake system that we actually have, where we're not learning about money when we should be learning how to handle money. So that's one of the problems with our education system. Number 6, real teachers.
His bookkeeper, his accountant, his attorney, his banker, his real estate agents. So he has what I call real teachers.
I'll leave this video at the end screen. This is one motivational video I listen to all the time. I listen to it when I'm driving. I listen to it at other times before I go look at real estate. It's just getting my head in the game. So I'll leave this video at the end. With looking out and seeking out real teachers, it's one thing I learnt within this video and within his book. So I do appreciate, I work in with my lawyer, my accountant, and other people like the banker. I learn how to work in with people to obtain what I'm trying to obtain. And that's one of the things to think about, is seeking out real teachers with what you're doing to learn. So it's the same thing with editing. The person who edits my work, he is a real teacher. He is in what he's doing every single day. I don't quite have what it takes to be an author to that same level with the education. And that's not a bad thing. There are plenty of people who have written books and cannot form a sentence together. It's how you work with a team of people to obtain what you're trying to obtain. So there is a thing about seeking out real teachers with everything that you're trying to accomplish. Number 5, teachers of the past. There is a reflection point within the book about people that we have in our personal life who have been good teachers, regardless of their education level. So that was something that had a good reflection within the book to allow me to have time to think over the years, because I've had a lot of good teachers at school who were good in different fields. I had different struggles, especially with English, believe it or not. With math, not quite as many struggles. So within the book, I did have that time to appreciate other points of my life, to who I've had to work in with to solve certain problems. And it's having that mindset and that attitude that made me reconsider some things. Though I did have a particular teacher from years ago who approached me outside and said, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" And I just said, "Go fuck yourself." Because I don't have time for fake people. Number 4, fake assets.
Warren Buffett is widely considered one of the greatest investors of all time, with a staggering net worth of $80 billion. Although his company, Berkshire Hathaway, chooses not to pay a dividend, a significant number of their holdings do.
That's Wall Street's investments, not your investments. So a lot of things we think about with 401ks and all that sort of stuff, when you're working through certain things to obtain more assets, you're actually building someone else's wealth and you don't even know it. He also talks about Warren Buffett and how that works within his book. And there are other channels that I listen to about Robert Kiyosaki. I do follow a lot of his work. And this is the big thing. He uses other people's money to build his wealth. And he talks about that with Warren Buffett. It's not necessarily using the stock market to obtain shares. It's using other people's money to obtain more.
Totally different.
No different. Only different in your mind. You must unlearn what you have learned.
Number 3, McDonald's.
Control over the franchisee. Fail to uphold quality standards. You cancel their lease. You're not in the burger business. You're in the real estate business.
He references the movie The Founder and other points with Ray Kroc, who said, "What is the business of McDonald's?" People say hamburgers. No, it's primarily real estate. And that's part of the other point of using other people's money to obtain more wealth. So within the book, he repeats this point 3 times. Normally I'd get annoyed and find a gripe about that. This wasn't the case for me. I found this was helpful because I was learning about something I didn't understand, reassuring myself on another point on how to move forward with another point in life. So I personally don't like Ray Kroc.
And an albatross of a contract that requires you to go through a slow approval process to enact changes, if they're approved at all, which they never are.
Look, fellas, you'll get your full royalties, all right?
Number 2, good debt and bad debt. We all hear about bad debt, how it can ruin your life. Bad debt is definitely buying luxuries instead of assets. The thing with assets and using good debt is your house is a liability, and he talks about that in other books, and that's one reason why he couldn't get his book published, because the education out there is counterproductive. Your house is a liability because it takes money out of your pocket, especially in the form of rates and utilities, etc. Now, with owning real estate where you have tenants, you use bad debt to obtain more real estate and create the cash flow. And you think about this like Shark Tank or the Dragon's Den pitching a deal. You pitch a deal to the bank to use their money, which is other people's money, to obtain more real estate. And other people's money is flowing into those rentals. Now, there are risks with any type of investing, so do your own research. Within the point of this is some more little clips of recent videos, and it's hard to get your head around because we're definitely not taught this, and it made me reconsider a lot of things, especially when it comes to obtaining wealth. And in life, I have seen other people who have struggled. I knew someone who struggled with ridiculous family court issues over years, and eventually, long story short, lost contact to all his children. He couldn't fight it, and the question says, why didn't you fight hard enough for your kids? Well, why was it so difficult? Long story short, instead of working for fake money being an employee, he built a business, built up a good portfolio, and now he has even more to work with, and you're treated differently. If you're treated as an employee in the profession, well, sometimes that's all you're going to be, is just another number. But when you have the business and you have the assets and the cash flow and you're building more wealth, you're treated a lot differently. And it's unfortunate. It reminds me of the ABBA song, "It is a rich man's world." Number 1, final thoughts.
Which is easier to replace? Your business or your fiancé?
I could not touch on everything within this video, such as taxes. Now, within the book and touching on things, yes, there were certain subjects that repeated itself, though it was quite helpful considered the lack of education we have out there, and the lack of understanding that I had on the subject matter. When I wrote Dark Sparrow, there's a list of subject matters that are difficult, with custody and parenting at the top, followed by religion, then politics, then a whole stack of different sub-issues. And at the very bottom I had finance. Little have I realised through other previous relationships I've had that don't work out are all financial based.
And the shit hit the fan with that.
When we've faced other challenges Kevin O'Leary has talked about, high divorce rates are due to finance. Where I have been challenged with a lot of things with this book. I've also reconsidered a lot of my life with my spouse to work on our future building forward. Over a lot of years, I've worked for fake money, where one of the big takeaways from this book is to have a good attitude when moving forward. I also got challenged with Christian views, so those who were raised in Christian households, money is the root of all evil. There are other parts within the Bible to reassure for other Christians out there that there are points of the Bible about obtaining real estate. There are points in the Bible about creating jobs. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a different mindset. And that's one of the big takeaways. I held back on a lot of opportunity in life because of those views. I was humble and content, which is another issue where being content is another danger, and I'll touch on that in an upcoming video. This book challenged my life, and for a lot of years I came in and out of YouTube, not necessarily because of any problems with people making contact. I just had other changes and needs, and real estate is one of the big things that I'm working on with my wife. All said, from here on out, one of the biggest takeaways, I listened to this video from Robert Kiyosaki, it's at the end screen. I enjoy the motivational video, and it's a different change on perspective. It's a different attitude. So I listen to the video before I go to an open house. Whether I'm buying a house or not, it's just getting some more experience. And it's one of the other big takeaways of the books. Checking out houses, looking at 100 houses in your first month to get experience into real estate. Keep doing education on real estate courses. And that's one of the biggest things, is to just have a good attitude with everything you're trying to obtain. And if you are looking at publishing different books or anything else, you can follow this channel. You can always email me, andrewcasey@hypersanitybooks.com, if you want to be a bit more anonymous within the comments. Otherwise, that's it for today. I'll see you all next time.